beverage through a filtered straw, and
I
it's
thought
like
you were picking up a potted plant, and that you had. Is this pot?
no, it's not. It's lemon.
Because I can't have it.
No, it's not pot. I promise you, it's lemon verbena. Smell it. It smells like Fruit Loops.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Fancy.
smells like those soaps they make.
Yeah. It's a great
Right?
herb. It's calming tea.
Really?
Plus, with the yerba mate, it kind of balances
But
it out.
is this, you get this from somewhere?
No, I make this at home from my
And
garden.
you put the stalk in there, or is
Yeah.
it grow? It looks like it's growing. in
No.
there.
It's just the here.
Oh, gross.
It's-
Oh,
well,
I'm
it's not-
sorry.
it's
Now
not-
it really
okay,
looks like
well,
it's growing in there.
all
I'm
right,
sorry.
no.
Okay.
I promise you, it's so healthy
This
for you
is
and so
going
good.
so well, Wesam.
It's going perfect. Let me introduce everybody who's just tuned into the show. First off, thank you for tuning in live to Adobe Radio. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. My guest today, for those of you who do not know, is Judy Kain. She is an amazing working actress who runs one of the best and my favorite acting school here in Los Angeles, Keep It Real Acting. I had an amazing experience years ago with Stacey Edwards in her Meisner scene study class, and I've raved on and on about it, and I'm so excited to finally have you in the studio. And I think I've told you just recently that this is our first time meeting in person.
It is. It's. I don't know how listen. Stacy's class was and is, she's still teaching, amazing, but I miss popping in. Look at you with your little potted plant. It's so adorable. I miss popping into the studio and saying hi to people and just, God, I miss it. I really do. But I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to stay online, stay virtual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what can I ask, what are some
Yeah.
of the positives and negative aspects of that for you?
Well, I've been teaching for about 20 years, I guess, but and having my own space was, like a dream come true. Just, people stopping in and coming in and needing self-tapes on the fly, and it was just wonderful. But once, the pandemic happened and I had to close the space just financially, I saw how viable having a virtual studio is, because theatrically everything is self-taped. Everything, 100% is self-taped. So if you can't learn how to make that happen, with one other person in the room or one other person, on Zoom and taping yourself and seeing yourself and understanding the framing and how to lift that off the page, to not have that feedback in the room, you're not going to book. And commercially, the same thing. 90% of it, up until just really a few months ago, was not in person. It was either a Zoom callback or a Zoom audition or a self-tape and a Zoom audition. So these are skills. I had to relearn them. I've been doing this for 40 years, in the room, and I had to learn how to do it on Zoom. So everybody has to learn. It's a different skill.
Very much so. For me, my experience, I realized the comfort of having the self-tapes. And while I was, being in that comfort zone, something I realized was, oh, wait a minute, I actually don't like being this comfortable. I like having that one shot.
Yes.
Maybe a redirection, but I like having that. There's something that it's alive.
It's an edge.
Yes. I miss that so much.
I do too.
I miss it.
Yeah, because I'm good at that. I'm good at looking at the lobby room and sussing people out.
Same. I do that too.
I hate to admit it, but up top.
Judy, I love you. I do that too. Oh my
Yeah?
gosh. Yeah. It's an energy thing.
It is an energy.
I've been trying to apply that to my self-tapes, and it hasn't been the same exact feeling.
No, it's not the same at all.
No.
You walk in, there's the dog. Hey, how you doing? You here on this? Yeah, I mean, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels somewhat like that during the Zooms with the producer sessions I've gone to.
Yes. If they would just unmute themselves so you could hear their laughter, or even hear, you can almost hear if they're moved. You can perceive that, but they're muted, so you can't tell.
You know what? I'd rather Yeah, I wish they were muted. Some of them, there's this time delay that happened, especially during the early days of COVID, where they didn't mute. So the time delay with some of the jokes, you do it, no laughing, and you continue laughter, and you're like, all right.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like a
bad.
trial by error kind
Yep.
of thing
Yep.
for me in the beginning.
Yeah.
Do you address those types of things in the classes?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, it's that's why I think it's viable. And yes, of course, I mean, it's so much more. I mean, we know what the in-person energy is. It's like doing theater, you know. It's an exchange between the actor and the, you know, whoever's watching, i.e. the audience. That's a beautiful exchange. You know, they are part of the scene.
Yeah.
But you have to make the camera part of the scene. Yeah. I mean, that's what Stacy taught me. Make the camera a part of the scene.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
We forget that as actors too, because that's the medium which is being viewed in. It's not a stage. It's not a big theater.
No.
Yeah.
So,
that.
you know, you do the best you can. I mean, you know, I'd kill for a self-tape right now. How about you?
Same. Same.
I was looking at my ring light the other day and I went, I'm sorry.
Well, I met up with a recent colleague and friend of mine, and super stand-up guy. I brought up his name on the show, and I'm not name dropping just for the sake of name dropping. I'm name dropping because sometimes when you hear these big name actors, you sometimes think, oh, they're probably separated from the common man, or they probably don't, or they're not grounded people. You might think that, but I knew from the moment I met this guy and I talked with him and I worked with him, like, that's an actor's actor, super grounded. Dylan McDermott.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool dude.
Yeah.
And he gave me a little bit of, like, advice, and he said, have that creative time even when you're not acting. Sometimes I just like to sit and daydream, and that's my creative time for the day. And I'm like, yes. Yes. I love that. I think that's so important, finding that, especially now, because we have all this free time,
Do we? I don't have no free time anymore. I mean, I had free time in the beginning of the pandemic, but now it just feels like I'm busy again. And
well, that's great.
yeah, busy, but not the same kind of busy.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at a calendar from, several years back, and it was like, drive to Paramount, drive to, 200 South La Brea, then you drive over here, where you're going to auditions all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that kind of busy.
Yeah.
Where you're changing your clothes in the car. Good times.
I miss that.
I do too.
I would sometimes listen to the music the character would listen to an audition.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Do you have any actor secrets like that? Can you share?
Well, again, I'm mentioning Stacy. Stacy always says, on the way to the audition, you talk to yourself in your name of the character,
Yeah.
So, Karen, this is going to be a good day, Karen. Karen, I know that you work as a nurse, and that, life can be challenging at the hospital, when you're working with diabetics, and, she would do that. And I think that's a really good way to drop in, or at least give yourself permission to do that. Are you writing that down?
Oh no, I'm there's before I forget, there's so many side things I want to hit with you.
Oh, okay.
My experience with Stacy's class was a very interesting one. How much have I shared fully on here?
We've shared almost everything, except we've never named names.
Names.
Sam and I were in the same class.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's great.
So this is what happened. My first class, I signed up because Stagecoach recommended Keep It Real Acting.
You were with Stagecoach?
I'm still am. Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
With April Baker?
Oh, I know April. She's
Okay.
great. She's one of
All
the
right.
managers there. I'm with Steve over
Steve.
there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they were like, I think this is the acting class for you, for Stacy, because they heard things from their clients. I was
Yes.
like, great, sure, I'll check it out. I told them I'm looking for something intense and real and no like bullshit, because I've had those experiences with other acting classes, unfortunately. Not all of them out here in LA, but a lot of them were like that. And I remember showing up to class, and Stacy reminds me of my old college teacher, which really got me into the craft. No BS, very straightforward, really understanding technique and letting stuff grow organically from that. And I was in Stacy's class, and she was very nice. And then we started the class, and I'm there for the month. And I'm trying to be so
Politically
there
correct.
there was a student who, and I'm sure you've come across this, and it annoys me. You're there to learn, not to defend yourself.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay? This is
Yeah.
not like, no, but we're telling you what you're showing.
Right,
And they butted heads a little bit, to say the least.
right.
But I respected Stacy for fighting back against that and going, no, like really. And this guy was being rude. He started yelling at Stacy, and then Stacy really yelled it back. We took a 5-minute break. We came back in the room.
I think I heard about this one.
Yeah. So I'm like, whew, I'm starting to sweat because I'm like, all right, Wesam, buckle in. Let's do this, And so we were doing Meisner technique. I hadn't done it since college at the time. And
Were you doing repetition?
yeah, and I hadn't done that in forever.
Did she pair you with this guy?
No, thank God, no. I was paired with a great partner.
Okay.
But the new people who went up before me, they weren't getting it, and so she was like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "Man, she's really a stickler. I can't like BS. I'm really have to buckle down here." She called my name. Luckily, it went smoothly. It went great. Nailed it. I was like, "Whew. All right, we're still an actor. That's good." I'm so worried about that.
Oh my God.
But the rest of class was great. She was really, she has this great ability and knows the technique so well, which I think is so important. That one of the main things from the class I got was being present, listening, which is so invaluable as an actor.
Yes.
I haven't taken your classes yet though, so I'd like to talk a little bit about what classes you teach there and
Oh,
specifically
okay.
what you focus on.
Well, I co-teach one class with Stacy, which is it's our theatrical class. It's geared towards theatrical auditioning. Of course, all of it's on self-tape. So one of the weeks you do prepare a self-tape, and then we have a casting director come in, look at the self-tape, and then give you a redirect in real time.
I love that.
Yeah. So, but she leads off the course with her amazing ability to really break down the script and to ask the questions, because she's the queen of asking questions, and that's really how you discover stuff, is you answer a ton of questions about why do I say this? Why do I say this right now? Why am I not saying that? What's going on here between what's happening before? And all these questions. So she's great at starting them off, and then I come in with a week of a little bit of comedy technique. That's kind of my forte. So, a little bit of that. And then she comes back with, those listening skills that are so important. Of course, acting and bringing your true self to it. Not pushing. We do work on emotional scenes, which is, again, something that she's so good at, not trying to cry. So that really helps. And then the last week we do the self-tape with the casting office.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. With the casting director, do you try to pair a scene that fits with what they cast or kind of in their realm?
No, I don't do that. Well, I guess that maybe I think about it. I factor it in, but I really try to give the actors, because we have everything from, young people to, older folk.
Older folk. I like that. I just got like an image of like the 1920s Dust Bowl,
Older folk,
Head California way.
in their stagecoaches. Try to give them the scene that would be right for them,
Yeah.
so that they have an opportunity to shine, and that's basically that class. Of course, then they are invited or not invited to go on to take Stacy's ongoing Meisner scene study, and then I teach a lot of commercial classes. We have 4 levels of commercial classes: a beginning A to Z, and then we have a commercial improv class, and then we have a class that's more intermediate, where they start to begin to meet casting people and prepare tapes, etc. And then the advanced, which a casting director is there every week.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's the crux of the studio, and then we do offer branding classes, headshot coaching, taping, self-taping, etc., etc. All virtual.
Yeah, that's great, especially nowadays where it is all virtual. So
Yeah.
it's cool like the studio has evolved to that level. What would you
Oh,
recommend?
and kids classes. We have kids classes too. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's great. What, how, in your opinion, how does an actor pick the right scene for the class?
I wish actors would pick the right scene up for the class. I wish actors would pick a scene. You know how lazy actors are? I roll.
Judy,
It's
I know.
crazy. I mean, Stacy ends up picking a lot of the scenes for people to work on. It's embarrassing. I mean, she always says to me, you know, when I was in class, and I say the same thing, well, when I took class, you know, you find your own scenes. You find your own partner. You rehearse. You get it up. You bring it in. You bring in your props. You do the work.
Yeah.
You know, but actors are lazy.
For the well, I'm going to mention, we're going to talk about lazy actors here in a little bit. We're going to deter a few of you, these actors listening today, from ever auditioning again. But you know what? No. I would walk into audition rooms, and I'd right off the bat, because I'm serious, I was serious about it, I still am, I'd be like, 80% of you shouldn't even be here. You just felt that from the vibe. Somebody would say something, I'd be like, you shouldn't even be here, you know? Like, nothing personal, it's all professional. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So,
well, it is show business. It is a business, for
Thank you.
God's sakes. This is not about, you know, I mean, I work with, I try not to, but I work with a lot of new people who are fresh off the boat, you know, and, you know, they all say, well, you know, I really just want to focus on television and film. Well, get in line, because it's a long line. I think you should start with commercials because you're non-union, and that's where you need to start, you know. But it's a tone deafness, and you know, not aware. Anyway,
yeah, no,
don't get me
absolutely.
started.
No,
See what you've
we're
done?
going to get you started. Don't worry. I'm already started. I'm caffeinated. I've got my gross drink. We're ready to go.
You're drinking your potted plant.
What about for the serious actors though? If they're
Yeah.
if they're going, I don't know how to pick a scene that is appropriate for myself. What are the basic steps to get themselves started?
Well, I think you have to know who you are. You have to know your type. You have to type. You know, like how old are you? What is your age range? You know, are you white? Are you what's your ethnic background? Are you what's your economic? In other words, how do you read? How do you come across to people? I think you have to know that. I think you have to be honest with yourself and know that, because that's how the industry is looking at you. And from that, try to find, material either from television or plays or films that, that would fit into that category, and look for a scene from there. But I think those are the roles you should be targeting too in your headshots, and the casting directors that are casting those kinds of shows or projects, because not everybody can't be Meryl Streep. Everybody can't play everything. And I don't think that people take a chance on most actors, because they need to know who you are, and you need to establish yourself as a credible, talented actor for this part, and then they might consider you for other things as well. But you have to get cast. So part of typecasting is cast.
Yeah.
But you have to know your type to get cast.
Right.
That's how I see it. Because when I came here, I don't know about you, but I thought I could do everything. I could all of it. I could do all of it, and I'm pretty good at most of it. But really, my niche is judgmental, snarky people.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
That's my face.
Yeah.
That's my face. That's what God gave me. So
Yeah.
I use it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that advice too. I think it seems common sense though to me.
Oh, it's so not. It's so not. People are in such denial about who they are and how they come across. And everybody wants to be younger.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play younger. And then you put yourself next to an actual, like everybody thinks they're in their 20s. And you put yourself next to a 20-year-old and you look like you've had a rough life.
Yeah.
A rough 20 years, so you don't want that. And plus, there's more work ahead.
Absolutely.
Always more work ahead. So does that make any sense? Am I making any sense?
No, I don't get it. Okay. Makes perfect sense.
Okay.
It's honestly, you hit something very key, and this is why I love yoga, and why one of the reasons why I've started to teach it. Yoga has been a really integral process for me throughout the years with acting, because it brings, first off, a body awareness and then a mental awareness to the present moment. And that awareness that people struggle with constantly, it's like, man, if you don't even have body awareness, I can only imagine what's going on up here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a tough wake-up call for some people. For some people, it's a gradual wake-up call over the years and years and years. And
But there are people, I mean, there, like we have this branding expert at Keep It Real Acting that I think is, he's like psychic. He can take a look at you and go, blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
and just really help you, discover your type.
What's his name?
Tom Burke.
Tom Burke. Okay.
Yeah, really scary how quickly he can do it.
I love that.
Yeah, and helping you get okay with it, and helping you find the way to package yourself so that you can be seen by the industry in that light and get results, because we want results. Who wants to spin their wheels for 5 years, 10 years?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. But
You mentioned improv too,
Yes.
which, fun fact about me, when I first started doing improv in 9th grade, I was terrible at it.
In 9th grade?
Yeah.
They had improv in 9th grade?
Yeah. There was a good drama program at the time, and we did summer improv camp at the school.
Oh.
And it was great learning all the basics of improv, but I was terrible.
I find that hard to believe.
You find that hard? Or
Yeah, I
yeah.
do.
And then I started basically coming in early, watching the morning improv classes, stealing their jokes, and then using them in the afternoon. And then they'd be like, man, Wesam's getting funnier. And then the teacher went, he's not funnier. He's just stealing the jokes from the morning class. And everybody's like, oh, boo, Wesam. I'm like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing.
So funny.
But eventually it got into my bones, and I started understanding it. And and that's why I think it's one of those things where you just have to constantly practice it. And
Well, we're practicing it right now.
yeah,
We are improvising right now.
listening.
Yeah, and there's no script here, is there? No. Okay, so there's no script. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And commercials is where improv is used most as far as the business goes, unless you're doing a show like The Office or Saturday Night Live or something. If you want to go on to be an improviser or sketch performer, run to Groundlings and get your training. But otherwise, you just really have to know how to be loose enough and in the moment. It really is about being in the moment enough to say the next thing that you would say.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is. It's no different than that, and it's really trying not to be funny, but just saying the next thing that you would say in that situation. But you have to be fully present in the situation, know what it is, where you are, what you see, and speak to it.
How do you teach people who are not present, no awareness, to be present? That feels like I know it probably doesn't happen in like an hour. You don't give them a pill and they're like, oh, I'm present.
Yeah,
Maybe there's probably pills out there for that, but this is not that type of school.
I ask them what they see. Like I say, okay, you're at the airport. What do you see? And then they start listing what it is they see. Right? Oh, airlines, ticket takers. Great. What else? Places to sit. Be more specific. Lounges, places to charge your phone. Good. What else? I'm making this up. See, I'm improvising as I go. Ticket takers, luggage racks. Great. What kind of luggage? Blah blah blah. They go on and on. I keep pushing them to see in their mind's eye where they are. 'Cause how many times have we all been to an airport? Millions, right? So you just speak to. It's almost like you have to get the Rolodex on that page. Or get the computer, Google search it so that it comes up and you can look at those images. Now do the scene and see what comes up. And almost always something. Mm-hmm. And I ask them to, in addition to what they see, okay, what are people talking? What are people saying? We are now boarding. Great. What else? You know, gate number two, great. What else? You know, that's my seat. There's no room in the overhead bin, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
So just getting them, of course, then those are real potential buttons, those little things that you hear people say.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it.
So it starts off with the visualization.
Yeah.
The firing up of the imagination.
Yes.
And it seems from what you're saying, it's just don't try to hit a home run. Just get on base. Just one step at a time.
Yeah.
Don't try to make a big joke.
No.
Yeah, it just...
No, because then it looks like you're working it or trying too hard or you're trying to be funny, and you know, everything's so real and natural now. They want it to just come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I just filmed a commercial with can I say Magic Johnson, and you know, I was having a smoothie. Had nothing to do with the spot, but I was having a smoothie, and just on the way out, I took a sip and I went, turmeric, and the director just loved it. It just lost his shit, but it just came out because I was present in the moment. You know, isn't that a big thing now with smoothies, turmeric?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know how I knew that, but you know, the little retention bubble up here, you know. I don't know if it's going to make it to the spot or not, but
I love that.
yeah.
That's always nice. That's always nice whenever you do something like that on set. You get that nice feedback. Not for the feedback, but because personally it feels like, yeah, I'm doing what I love to do and I'm good at it, and it's creating that positive effect that's adding something to the story. You know, it's adding value to what's trying to be told or sold.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Judy. No, I'm kidding. We still have a lot to talk about.
You're funny.
It's all improv.
Yeah.
Stolen. Stolen that from me.
Thank you, 9th grade teacher.
What did I just write? I had the worst handwriting.
Do you want me to look at it?
I think it says meet crazy people.
Meet crazy people. I
Meet
did.
catering people. Meet catering people. I know. Oh, lazy actors.
Lazy.
So fun fact, I've always helped and done coaching stuff with close friends and certain colleagues, and have had good results from it. Like they book, they work, whatever. I'm happy for them. It's great. And I will be teaching at IDSA in the fall for 6
What's
weeks.
IDSA?
Identity School of Acting, based out of London. And so,
Wonderful.
yeah, it's my first step into the teaching world. And I did a talk for them a year and a half ago. And I basically started off by saying, nobody's like holding a gun to your heads to become actors, right? Everybody's here on their own free will. Awesome. We hit all the points you hit. It's a business, you know?
Right.
And then I still got this vibe from certain questions people would ask at the end, where it was like, I can do everything though. How come I'm not going out for these things? And it's this barrier that I don't know if it's people obsessed with fame. I'm sorry, like people obsessed with fame, or they think that they're the shit and they're just okay. I don't know what it is with a lot of actors coming into this business.
I think it's a world problem, which is I'm here and I want to get there, but I don't want to have to walk this path that will get me there. In other words, I'd rather not do the work. I'd just rather, how do I get to there? And the answer is you have to go through here. Mm-hmm. You really do have to go through the process.
Yeah.
You have to take classes and go on, student film auditions and work on a lot of student films, and you got to work on one film where you don't get paid. You got to, right? To know that you never want to do that again. You got to do some projects that, are never going to air.
Yeah.
You got to do, work with somebody who's really difficult and then work on a really great project, and you do all of it. And you just do it, hopefully, because you have to.
Yeah. Because
that is what fills your soul. And if it doesn't fill your soul and you're doing it for the money, you really need to go to see a shrink, because I don't know.
You know,
Very few people in this industry make a lot of money.
you know what's my favorite thing about acting classes? When it becomes a therapy session for one of the students. That's my favorite thing in the world.
That happened today in
Yeah.
my class. It became a little therapy for. But what does Stacy say? This is not therapy, but acting is therapeutic. Yeah, it is therapeutic.
Yeah.
Because you do get to do things and say things that you normally wouldn't say, but
Yeah.
it's, scripted, so you can.
There have been instances where it feels like, whoa, those emotions came up. Wow, I have stuff that I need to deal with. And it's done in a very, like, what's the right word here? Non-intrusive way to everybody else in class. You still feel like, whoa, like this person's delved into this thing. They found something they didn't know was so sensitive. It exploded in the moment of the scene, and it's the after effects are lingering a little bit, but they're like, whoa, cool. All right, I'll address that later at a personal time, but that was cool that I felt that and everything. And it's like, whoa, yeah, okay, great. And then we talked about it afterwards, and then that became a real therapy session, outside. But then, I wonder how you reel in the people who are just like,
Oh, they just go out there and
yeah.
they never come back?
yeah,
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you there. Yeah. I mean, that's living a little too deep in for me. Yeah. I mean, I love to be fully invested in the scene, but when it's over, I like to go back to Judyville.
yeah. Judyville sounds nice. I bet there's turmeric shakes in
A
there.
lot of turmeric
A
shakes.
lot of turmeric shakes. That's called a callback for those of you interested in the improv classes. Why are you shaking your head, Peyton?
What do you mean?
This guy he's changed. When he first came to LA, he was so nice, and then he started booking a lot of acting work, and he's changed.
Jaded.
Yeah,
Now he's bitter.
Now he's Hollywood. Is that your new nickname, Hollywood?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm Primetime, you're Hollywood? Yes.
I love
Peyton,
it.
we just found it.
I love it.
Oh, man. So,
Where were we?
we're Judyville. I almost said Margaritaville.
That's right.
Jimmy
Judyville.
Buffett. Did you know Margaritaville is a series of restaurants around the country owned by Jimmy Buffett?
You're joking.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
Are you pulling my leg?
I am not pulling your leg. That is a YouTube video I watched a couple nights ago.
Did you watch Eddie Burback's video or Ted's where they visited every Margaritaville?
That's the one?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's real.
It's a real place. It's very beachy. Margaritas, of course.
Right.
Good times.
Chips, salsa.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we confirm? Yes.
Yes.
How are you staying creative then in your artistic Judyville?
Well, I am taking this class with Howie Deutsch on Saturdays. It's part of an offshoot of the Beverly Hills Playhouse. So I was struck. I was struck with what was I struck with? I wanted to be a part of this group of people, of actors who don't need class, but who are taking class and have been taking class for over 20 years. That intrigued me. People who do not need it. They're great actors, but they're taking it because they want to continue to work on their craft. And there's actors and there's directors. And so that's helping me tremendously stay happy, fulfilled, creatively stimulated. It's wonderful. I've never, in my years here, 42 years, I have never found a group of people like this.
Oh my gosh. You got me interested.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it's pretty cool. And what else am I doing? Some commercials. Been doing some commercials. I can't complain about that.
Congrats.
As I said, I got to work with Magic Johnson. I'm like 5'3", and he's not 5'3".
5'11".
I
6 foot.
actually got like a neck ache at the end of the day from looking up at him. You know how you get that when you look up to, like, bird watching can do that to you? Bird watching really is, they need to come up with like a pillow to put back here for bird watching.
Well, usually people are far out. Are you underneath the tree bird watching?
Yes. Where are you going? Where are
Wait.
you?
I'm far away.
Trees are up. Birds fly high.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm always I'm doing this weekly. No, like I always imagine bird watching like you're far away and like you're
No.
on a hill or something.
Well, maybe.
Maybe in this
Yeah,
head.
that head. Wesam world.
I know.
But no. Yeah. No. Okay. I digress.
He was tall, huh?
He's pretty tall.
Yeah. Was he nice?
Very nice. Very,
How was his acting skills on set?
you really want to know?
I would love to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he was nervous.
Oh.
I think he was nervous. Yeah,
Okay.
I think he was nervous, and he's such a nice guy, and I think he wanted to. I think if I can say this, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to get in trouble. He was trying to. You know how when you're a nice person already, but then you play nice, it's too much nice. Does that make sense? Where he needed to play the opposite, and kind of just be more inquisitive or not understand, or but the niceness always comes through because that's a given.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to play snarky. I already am.
Yeah.
So just play something else, and that snarky will come through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the director was great with him, though. He got it. He got it out of him.
I love working with a great director
Yes.
that can make you feel comfortable. You get what you need. And do you have any directors? I burped there. It was like a dramatic pause. Do you have any directors that off the top of your head where you remember like, oh, I love working with this director. I feel like there's a flow between me and this person.
Many. I've
Okay.
worked with many. Please don't ask me to say their names.
No, it's
'cause
okay.
I
Yeah.
won't remember. I'd have to like pull up my IMDb
Yeah.
but yes, many who have been really great. Yes.
It's been wonderful. I love it when a director allows you to play a little bit, just a
Yes.
little bit at least.
Yes.
It makes me feel like a little bit free.
Oh yeah.
It's not so rigid, and is when something doesn't work, they're like, yeah, I was like, yeah, that didn't work. Let's go do another one, and you feel
Right.
totally fine about it.
Yes,
You don't feel like
you've made a mistake or you're
Yeah.
eating up time or
Yeah.
no. But I've had that too.
Yeah.
Where it's just like it's last shot of the day. Okay, that's usually me. Last shot of the day. Okay, we have 2 seconds and action. That's usually.
Do you
me.
rally for those points? Do you feel like you
Oh,
rally?
I always do.
Yeah.
But it's it just feels so anticlimactic. It's like one take. That's it. We got it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Sometimes that happens. That's
Yeah,
a bummer.
it does. But
It's
then you
spe-
have the other. You counterbalance. That's what I'm saying
Yeah.
about that path. You got to have both.
Yeah. I feel like those days I'll take any day like that over not working too.
Abso-frickin-lutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always feels like a dream every time I'm on set. It always feels I'm very present. I try to soak up all I can in the moment because I'm always like, man, this is happening. This is for real. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
I've had van regrets as well. I'm sure you've had those.
Van?
Oh, great! I get to like tell you a cool lingo thing that I learned. Like when you're in the van ride home, and maybe a scene wasn't working, or you're like, it was all right. There was something about, and then it's while you're looking out the window of the van back to like base camp, and then it hits you what you should have done, and you're like, oh, come on. Have you ever had that?
All the time. Yeah.
Same.
All the time. Yeah, no, my best work is done in the car on the way home. Always.
Yeah.
But, it's, that's the thing. And I'm certainly learning, how invaluable rehearsal is. And, I just did a staged reading of something, and just rehearsing and new stuff comes up every single time, and you can't outgrow a scene, to tell you the truth. You can't. There's always more to find.
100%.
But you don't get that on the set, so which means you have to come prepared and ready and open, and play off of what you're being given or not given, and go with that.
Yeah.
And the rest is pretty much out of our control, unless you're the director or producer.
Yeah.
You know.
One of the biggest shocks for me of on-set work for like TV shows was how fast it went by.
Oh yeah.
My first guest spot, I was just, oh, we're done. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so I think, though, you hit it on the head. How you prepare for that fast-paced TV work is to rehearse, like you said, and be open to play or change on the spot. I think that takes practice, though, in class.
Yes. No, it does, absolutely, because I can see myself or anybody really in their trailer, rehearsing the way to say the lines and doing it over and it becomes like the ABC song. How do you do that differently? Just try it. Try to do the ABC song differently.
Right now?
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, E, F.
All right, you're good. You're good. But most people can't. Most people can't. It's ingrained. It's in, and then you get to the set and the director says, I just want to do the, and you're like, you're stuck.
I told my brother, so my brother's been getting into acting. He's taking...
the tall one?
The tall one. But I told him, whenever we've started working together, one of the first times that happened, he's been practicing in his bedroom, and I knew it was going to happen, but I wanted him to experience it, sitting in his chair, rehearsing the lines over and over and over. And I'm like, okay, we're going to let him feel this out. And then when he comes into our dining room where we shoot our self-tapes, I'm like, you ready? He's like, I got all the lines down. I'm like, oh, awesome. You got all the lines? All of them? All right. Action. He's standing. He's not sitting anymore, and he's in a different space, and he's like, oh, sorry, 1 second. Oh, yeah, sorry. That was okay. What is happening? And I'm like, let me tell you what's happening. Sit down. It's this great thing to experience. So I was like, what you need to do is, if you're trying to just get the lines down, don't just rehearse in your chair. Rehearse in the shower. Rehearse while you're walking outside. Rehearse while you're doing
the dishes.
Everything, just so it's in your bones.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about the words when you're doing it after a while. And you're not like stressed. I'm like, what if you have an in-person audition? You're not in your bedroom.
They're not going to give you your chair to sit in. No, it's my pet peeve with when someone says, I want to get coached, and they're sitting there, and I notice that they're sitting in a chair, and it's supposed to be a scene, on a boat, or they're fishing on a boat or something. And I'm like, well, why are you sitting? Stand up. I don't think fishing on a boat was a very good example.
No, it's great.
Okay, like shopping at the mall or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. Get up in your body.
Yeah.
Give yourself some stuff to touch or have.
Of course, Uta Hagen.
Yes.
I love the 9 questions because it's what I started my acting craft, like my real acting craft. I was like, whoa, this is a craft. And the 9 questions help with that basis of foundation for the imagination of the world that you will create. Mm-hmm. What your character says about you, what other people say about you, what other characters say about your character, and what the author says about your character. And I feel like even the smallest difference in time changes the scene, can change the scene completely from autumn to fall, autumn to fall. Big difference, Judy. Huge. Summer, winter. Let's say summer and winter.
Yeah.
Coming into a scene like taking off your gloves.
Yeah.
Other than, oh my gosh, it's been so hot.
Yeah.
Outside. It's like a whole different vibe. The way you move in is different. The way you're
and what
catching
you
your
want.
breath.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you see these little differences that bring so much life into a scene just from the time? And is it the time of day, evening or morning?
And what just happened. Yeah.
These little, oh man, I nerd out about this stuff because that's what brings life to it.
Yep.
And it's so noticeable from someone. It could be a 3-line scene from somebody who did all this work that you will never know about versus someone who's like, I'll just read the lines. The difference is night and day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know, it's crazy. And that's the specificity that I think Stacey really, she really hones, she really pushes it and has made me a better actor because of it. Because it can't just be, they're a friend. we have to understand what the relationship was and is, and today, what it's right now, and what just happened to make it that, and just, what was the history? What happened 3 years ago between the two? Just all that stuff, and that's the fun part of acting.
Yeah.
It really is the fun part of acting.
So I would get so scared from my acting teacher in college because she was great. She just didn't like people who came unprepared. So if she was asking you questions that you didn't have answers to, she's like, "Why aren't you doing the work?" Like she would
Right.
and I became so good at bullshitting. Even if I gave her a wrong answer, like she'd be like, "Okay, but that doesn't." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. It doesn't work like that. Okay, let me change that up to this."
Oh my
So
God.
like but it helped with what? Improv and just bullshitting. Just say something. Don't just be like, I don't have that.
Because then you're going to get a good spanking.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes she would ask questions. Of course, me as a dumb college kid, late teens, early 20s, I was like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." And it's like, you should be thinking about that kind of thing. I want to know what else gives you your pet peeves. I love hearing pet peeves from people.
About actors, about the biz. Do I have any other pet peeves?
Because while you're thinking about that, I agree with you on the sitting versus standing, or why are you just
That's
sitting?
crazy.
Like, or when there's like, "Cool, let's start a scene." I'm like, "Where were you just now? What happened in the moment before?" And you don't have an answer. And it's like, "Yeah, I know you don't have an answer. It's very clear you don't have an answer."
Yeah.
Man, this acting class I'm going to teach
It's going to be off the charts.
it's going to be great. You know what I'm going to do for the first day?
What?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. So
Have you heard this before?
No, but I can only imagine what he's going to
Look at
torture
those eyes.
them. He's going to torture
Look at
them.
those eyes.
So it's an audition technique class into working on set,
Oh, great.
covered in 6 weeks. So it's a pretty
Yeah, that's
intense
a lot.
course
Okay.
to put in there. It's only 3 hours of class, so it's not going to be that, we're going to get through it. It's going to be fine. But I'm still deciding between 2 days and 1 day before the first day of class. I will send out an audition for each of the people that they will have to come in and prepare for. And the very first time we meet will be an audition.
Oh, I love it.
And so that nobody can BS me about where their skills are, and they can have an honest gauge of where they're at whenever they have an audition 2 or 1 days before.
Well, I'm going to tell you at least 2 of the people. How many people in the class?
14 to 16.
Okay. At least 2 of the people will say, "Oh, I didn't know we were supposed to prepare it." At least 2.
Next. No, I'm kidding. I can't do that. They're paying. No, but I'm really excited for that because I want a no BS thing. Like this is how good you
No,
are
it's
in 2
great.
days' notice.
Yeah.
Because as you know, my last pilot I shot, they're like, "Hey, you got it. You're leaving to Mexico in 2 days
Right.
for a few weeks." So, oh, okay, great. So you don't know when your next job is going to be, when you have to prepare, when your scenes are going to be.
Yeah. You're working on it on the plane
Yeah.
and the hotel. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of time.
No.
Mm-mm.
Any more pet peeves that you can think of?
Oh, I probably have so many, but
Yeah.
I'm in a really zen place right now.
Okay, then,
So
yeah.
it'll come to me as we're talking.
I like sharing these horror stories with other actors. One of them was for my Best Buy commercial that I did years ago. It was a technical spot that would air on all the TVs at Best Buy, where I'm like talking about the things.
Black
A
Friday,
product,
right?
like a product placement thing.
Yeah, it was for Christmas.
It was in only the stores at like the checkout counter.
It was, good question, web and in the TV monitor stores, where I was like, "Hey, get this drone for your kids because this drone has this," and like I'm talking about the presents or
Right.
whatever. So I auditioned with the material, book it. A couple days later, I'm in Minnesota, show up on set. The next day, I have everything memorized from the sides they had given me. No update on the
They
sides.
change it.
Oh, yeah. And you know how I found out? When I start doing the rehearsal and the director comes over to me frantic. He's like, "Hey, did they not send you the new sides?" I'm like, "Oh, no, man. What are the new sides?" And he's like, they're really different. I'm like, great, let's see them. I kept a positive attitude. I'm like, okay, you're going to have to give me just like a few minutes because nobody sent these to me. I made it very clear, like, this was not. He's like, I am so sorry. I'm like, it's fine. We'll make it work. And we made it work. Mm-hmm. However, there were mic issues during the time. I had to ADR about 70% of my lines over while I was talking. Like, and you know how hard that was as an actor?
ADR is hard. Yes. Oh, yeah.
But not even like the back of the head. It's like front facing. And I'm like, you guys why don't we just shoot it again? This is ridiculous.
Wow.
But we made it work. It looks great. People would never notice, but ADR is one of those things. Like, I don't know. Have you had good experience?
I have. The hardest one I ever did was for Fantasy Island, which was outside. Was a really windy day in Puerto Rico. Hello. I know, really nice.
Oh.
But you know, the mic, same. I'm sorry.
Do I look ridiculous?
Yes.
I am aware of this now.
You look like you're. It's just so cute. But okay, so what was I saying? So so I had to go in, and it was similar.
Yeah.
Almost full frontal.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Perfect phrasing.
And trying to match it, and I didn't know, and they didn't have the words, so I was just trying to make up what I said because it was improvised.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know what I'm saying there. Do you? No.
And they were like, all right, let's get...
Well, whatever.
Real quick, our time on Adobe has come to an end.
Oh.
So, but the show continues on, Judy.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, we only get an hour here on Adobe. By the way, we're the #1 show on Adobe Radio. I forgot to mention that. Isn't that great?
That's impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. I want one of these Wesam World coasters.
Oh, yeah? I
Yeah.
think we have an extra one. We'll find one.
Yeah, super cute.
Full episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you're listening live, follow us at Wesam's World. Follow Judy Kain at Keep It Real Acting Instagram, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I was right. I don't know why.
Or the website, keepitrealacting.com.
To sign up for acting classes, and thank you. Show continues on. I don't know why I waved to this camera because it's on the YouTube.
they're all still here.
They're all still here, but the listeners, they're not here anymore on Adobe Radio unless they came back to this point.
They came back, then welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh my
gosh. Isn't pre-recording great?
That's so great. I just got that you're a takeoff of Wayne's World, aren't you? Wesam's World.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Really?
Yeah, I loved Wayne's World. No,
We'll accept it though.
Yeah.
Isn't that sort of the same graphic? Wesam's World? No.
I made those without knowing that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all from up here. Maybe there is a subconscious.
You just watched Wayne's World. It's in the back of your head.
So the reason why I called this one Wesam's World, I had a previous podcast called Actors Anonymous.
Oh.
It was for struggling actors, and I brought in working actors, and we'd only talk about their struggles, no successes, no success stories. But funny enough, actors don't want to hear about that. They want to. It's very niche.
Don't want to talk about it either. They want to talk about what's coming up and good.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe.
Or maybe I was just a terrible podcast host. That could have been it too, to be honest with you. That was really early on. No, but that's the whole reason for Wesam's World. So I could just make it more inclusive to my life and all the craziness that happens.
So it doesn't have to be just actors.
No.
It could be people who like potted drinks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're throwing a lot of shade at my potted drink.
I'm sorry.
It's really healthy and good.
Yeah.
Do you like sweet drinks or bitter drinks?
I like sweet drinks. I'm a sugar, probably pre-diabetic or something, you know.
Then you would like this with milk and sugar in it.
And not in a pile of dirt.
Oh my gosh, that's the mate. That's the mate, Judy. I'm kidding.
All right. What's next?
The strike.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping you wouldn't talk about that.
You don't want to talk about it?
No. Let's talk about it. It's, gets me riled up, but...
I am astounded.
Yes.
At basic human decency.
Yes. Well, that's kind of my issue, too. Is like, maybe I was deluded, but I really thought there was, even for some of the roles, the less significant roles, that I was appreciated, that I was, respected for the work I did, and certainly the work that, everybody put in on the project.
Mm-hmm.
It just really feels like I was wrong.
Do you know what I think of? I think of leadership and of the people at the top, and how I can't wrap my head around, other than the fact, and it's not even good business. Like, yeah, I'm not the CEO of a company, but even what they're doing now doesn't seem appropriate to good business in the long term. And even putting the business to the side, the common decency, the human aspect of it, like, these are people who are obviously not making enough money. The cost of living is rising.
We're talking about the actors and the writers.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And you could be, like the main CEOs, you could literally be heroes in the eyes of people if you all went, you know what? We know we just want to take we only need to take a 2% pay cut this year from all of us to meet these people's needs on the financial side. But you know what? We're going to take a 5% pay cut, make sure everybody's being taken care of. We're still going to make lots of money, and let's address the AI concerns appropriately. Do you know how many people would be like,
yeah, no,
we love
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't care. You're still making bank.
Billions. Let's call it billions. Yeah.
I just don't understand.
No, I don't understand that either.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe it's, there could be that ignorance of what it is really like to live, in an apartment with no insurance and to struggle for your next job. I don't know. I mean, there are people like that. That's not the bulk of the people, but, there are people who are really, really struggling to get enough jobs, to make enough money. I mean, the residual structure right now is, I'm surprised Jane Fonda's not upset, with the residual structure. I know why she's not upset, or somebody like her, because they get paid, they understand. They get paid on the upfront because there are no residuals. They get paid more. Correct?
yeah.
Yeah. So, but we don't. No. I should say. I don't get paid more upfront. I just get the same. And then the residual comes in. I'll give you an example. I did a wonderful show for CBS called How We Roll. I was in 8 episodes out of 10. Nice part, fun part. Really enjoyed it. Maybe I made $4 or $5 grand for the week. Modest, but happy to do it. And the residual came in on Hulu. It aired on Hulu. I made $3.70 per episode. That was my residual on Hulu for a network show a year ago. Yeah.
You know what that makes me think of? Transparency. Transparency in the streaming numbers that they don't disclose.
Right.
And there's some red flags that come up in my mind immediately when I think about that, is why are you hiding the transparency numbers? Right. Does it not truly reflect what your advertising shows? Like, oh, these are super popular. Super popular. Okay, how popular are we talking about? Because when there's transparency, then you can detect exactly, like, okay, all right, maybe not a lot of people are watching this. Well, this make, or dude, a lot of people are watching this, and hey, you need to compensate me better.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on there. It's disappointing.
It is really disappointing, because really every actor and every writer brings so much to it that they can't do it without us. I mean, I'm sure they'll find a way. I'm sure they'll find a way to use other people, or do whatever they do. I have no idea, but that's where you start to feel like, wow, I thought all of this really meant more.
Yeah. Also, I don't know whatever happened to, like, fair business. Like,
well, that's true. I mean, I am the CEO of Keep It Real Acting, and I know that I have to keep my the people that work for me that do the stuff I don't necessarily want to do, I have to keep them happy, or they're not going to produce.
Yeah.
If they don't produce, then I don't have a business. I understand that. I really want them to be compensated for and to feel like they're doing that their work is valued. Otherwise, I don't have a company.
I love that, Judy. I wish more people were like that.
I just put a thing out on Instagram. Nice discount, $75 any class for a SAG actor or a WG writer. They want to take a class, $75 off and $15 off for one-day classes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's very generous.
Well, I'd rather they lift their spirits or creatively stimulate than, it's tough. So,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm the CEO of Wesam's World, and I keep my employees very under my hands.
You squelch them. Do you cut trees so they have no shade? Do you do that?
Bro, do you know how vindictive and how obvious that is?
It's the worst.
Like that whole... I actually retweeted that. And
Your tweet cracked me up. I was going to say, just the perfect response.
It was just like, eh. That's all it was. Do you understand that type of mindset to go, hey, and we all know who's calling, hey, cut the trees down. Let them strike in the sun.
Yeah.
Let them burn in the sun. Like,
let them get third-degree burns. Let them pass out from heat stroke. I did hear that NBC brought tents. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
That's
true.
They did.
NBC came over and brought tents.
Well, that is very kind of them to bring tents.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't someone high up though. It was just other employees.
Oh, NBC employees that did it. Yeah. Oh, well.
That I understand, but if it's that kind of thing where the CEO's like, we brought tents for them to strike out in front, like, oh, thank you for the tents, like, thank you for the shade while we strike. That's what we're fighting for.
Yeah, I think they're trying to pass it off as an annual tree trimming. They cut those things off to nubs. This was not a tree trimming.
No, it happens in winter.
This was a butchering.
You don't butcher them.
Yeah, and you don't do it in summer.
Dude, I've got a friend who I'm a mean friend because I love being mean to my friends just because that just brings me joy and like watching them,
do you
get
prank
nervous.
them or something?
Yeah, I just put them through misery a lot of times. My goal someday is when I'm like really established in my career, and in the summertime I'll have my fun travel show that is really like a prank show with my friends. I lie to them about everywhere we're going and everything we're doing.
Wow.
So that's like my goal. And one of my friends, I'm like, what did I write? Do you know Jasmine Savoy Brown? Oh, wait, I can't actually say that on air, my text message. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah. I basically said...
Can we keep... Should we just drop it?
Yeah, do we need to take a break or something?
No. I just like freak them out. I just said something like, hey, I'm writing an article for Deadline. Do you mind if I quote you? I stand with the AMTPT, and it's like them. And they're like, no, don't say that. It's just something stupid like that. Anyway, we'll move on. Sometimes I forget that I need to have a career after I do this podcast.
Yeah. Can you imagine, though? I was thinking the other day, I thought, gosh, I do feel such bitterness about AMPTC. What's it going to be like that first day back on the set?
Good
Is it going to
question.
be like, hey, how are you? I mean, what is it going to be like?
It's a really good question. Who's and this is, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but is
Are
it the
they
main
going to come up and I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I just can't stop the scenarios. Are they going to come up and go, oh, so good to have you back? And then do we just, shiv them?
I know I follow a producer on Facebook, and he is disgusted by what's being done by the producers union, I guess, or what is it? Their alliance.
Mm-hmm.
They call it
Alliance,
He's like, this is totally regretful, and I don't know. It's sometimes hard to distinguish what's really happening, because I remember reading that article where they said, oh, they'll eventually start losing their mortgages or homes and rent, and then they'd want to come back to the table for the bargaining table, and they're like, we never said that, but then it was like they wrote like, well, we found out that like half of them were getting into arguments like, why are you saying that? Like, why are you like, this is not what this is about. So I don't know if there's internal conflict on their side as well.
Well, I think they're all competing. I think Netflix is competing with Apple, is competing with Hulu, and you saw how fast CBS and Paramount all came up with streaming platforms. Like, we gotta get something.
Yeah.
I mock, but it's true. They did. They were like, we gotta get a streaming platform.
Yeah. It's not a viable business model. The streaming.
Yeah.
The streaming service. I mean, it was great at first. You're like, whoa, this is great, but it's not substantial. You can't keep it alive for a long period of time. You just can't. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy working on like network,
Sure.
like major network stuff, because the ad revenues pay for
Yes, but it does re-air on streaming.
It's true. And that's what we're
Do you
fighting
remember
for.
the days of when there was a rerun on network TV? Do you remember those days?
Yeah, I would get some residual checks from when I first started off in acting with that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
like the
nice.
same, you got the same thing you were paid to shoot it. That was,
Oh, the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, no, not
yes,
the same thing.
you would. Except for the second airing. The second airing. That was the structure of the residual that we fought for back in 1980, I believe.
Then I did receive that.
So you do the first, let's just say you do one day on Murphy Brown, and it's I don't remember if it was CBS or what, but you make $2,000, and then it re-airs. You make $2,000 for the first airing, and then it goes down every rerun after that. Well, there are no reruns.
Mm-hmm.
There is no rerun.
Yeah. Damn.
So, you can't just.
Yeah. I don't want to get you worked up. You're in Zen mode. Let's go back to Zen mode, Judy. I want you to leave it. I want you to leave here feeling even more so in Zen mode.
Okay. All right.
How pleasant. This has been so pleasant.
Oh, you're such a nice guy.
Thank you. I know.
Yeah. I feel very on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I like your leopard print shirt.
Oh, I did a scene from Sopranos today, and I was playing Dr. Melfi, the therapist to Tony Soprano.
Which scene?
We combined two scenes. The first scene was where he's been season one where the mother tries to have him killed and he comes to therapy, and I say, look, I think your mother has a borderline personality disorder, and he gets up and says, I'm going to break your fucking face. And then we cut to the next scene, which is I come into my office and he's there, and I am on the phone with 911, and I'm going to call the operator. I take out, some scissors. And then he says, you were right. My mom did try to have me killed. And then he tells me that my life is in danger, that they're going to try to kill me.
Whoa.
So it was a great scene.
I just finished The Sopranos last year.
Ah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's a 90s show, but it doesn't feel like the structure. I like the story structure because I didn't expect what was going to happen. Now, I kind of did because I have this bad habit, which I'm notorious for.
You watched the last episode first?
No.
Oh.
Well, this might be worse. I watch clips or a compilation of clips, and I did that with The Sopranos for like years. And I would just watch clips.
Why?
I'm a clips guy. Judy?
Really? It feels like a shortcut.
I'm really lucky to read a lot of scripts, and it's hard for me to sit down and watch an entire thing because sometimes I'm like, okay, I've done that before in the past, and I've watched so much in the past. Now I'm just like, okay, I get where this is going. I get where it's very rare where I'm like, ooh, I don't know where this is going.
Oh,
I'm interested in the choices because a lot of times I'm like, oh, I just want to act in it. I don't want to watch it. I really do. I don't want
I do that too.
I just want to act. I'm more interested in acting than watching movies and watching TV.
Yeah. I do that too.
So yeah, but The Sopranos was great.
Yeah.
The character arc of what's his name, the nephew, was so good. He's in White Lotus now. He has white hair.
Oh. I don't know. White hair. I didn't watch The Sopranos.
You never watched it?
No, I watched a couple episodes and I went, too violent.
Oh, you don't like violence. Oh, his name is
I think it's happening.
Michael Imperioli. This dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was good. He was really good.
Yeah.
And he was really good in White Lotus. Yeah.
I saw a clip from that because my manager from Stagecoach, Taylor, was like, you need to see White Lotus if you're watching The Sopranos. I was like, cool, I'll watch some clips. And she's like, no, watch the whole thing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
and then
it's
I have
really good. You didn't watch the whole thing?
No.
Oh, wow.
I should, though. The clips were great. Clips were solid. Like,
See, I have a bad habit of watching something. I can't sit still very well.
oh.
Yeah. So I'll be sitting and watching something, and then I'll go up and get some water, and then I'll come back, and on the way to get the water, I'll put away something, and then I'll maybe put the dishes away, and then start the laundry, and I'll check back in, rewind for a few minutes, then get up again and go to the bed. Yeah. So I can't sit still. People who come over to watch something with me, I drive them crazy. Do you want me to pause it? No, I'm good. So it's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, clips, but with chores.
Clips with chores.
It's just I can't sit still. I've got a lot going on.
Do you find any time of the day where you can just like
When I sleep.
you sleep? Okay. All right.
When I'm dead.
Is it whoa? Is it anxiety? Is it just like I want to keep doing stuff?
No, I'm blessed with an amazing amount of energy.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
What have you seen recently that's just blown you away?
TV, film.
Either one.
Here we go again with like what I'm gonna go. Oh, you know the one with the
I
guy.
have my phone ready.
It's a I think it's a Korean movie, and it's just the two people. What's it called?
The one where she
We-
remembers her old love.
Yes.
Yes. He's the Korean actor.
Yes.
He is so talented. I've actually seen some of his K dramas. He's
really
yes,
beautiful.
yes.
What's that called? It's simple. No cars blown up, no big fires or it's just a simple story, and it's
Beef. No, there's a show called
no,
Beef.
that's
No, I
great
know.
too. That's
Okay,
great
yeah, yeah.
too.
Okay.
Although that got really violent, and
Oh, yeah, you
and
know.
I was like, oh, why just forgive him? What's it called? Oh, it's a beautiful story. That's a. I hope that wins something. If we ever have another award show. What else? What else have I seen that I'm watching? I'm binging Suits right now.
Isn't that great?
Yes,
Yeah, my brother's doing that right now.
really good show.
It's great.
Really good show, and I
Past lives.
Past Lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So good. Really lovely. I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
member of the Television Academy.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have a film screening series. So that's usually what I go see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For me, it was The Menu,
The Menu? I didn't see The Menu.
Judy.
Really?
Judy.
Really?
Let me tell you, coming from the clips guy, I sat from the beginning to the end of this thing.
Wow.
It's
The Menu.
so good.
Okay.
It should have won an Oscar, or at least been nominated.
For
It should have
best
been nominated.
best script or best picture.
Yeah.
Was it this year or last year?
Came out in December-ish.
Oh, December. So it was last year.
Yeah.
Okay. So it got skipped over?
Michael Fiennes, what's his name?
Rafe.
Ray
Ray
Fiennes.
Fiennes.
And,
Oh, Ray
Anna,
Fiennes. Yeah, yeah.
Anna, I forget.
Anya
Yeah, Ralph
Taylor-Joy.
Fiennes. Yeah,
Yes.
Ralph Fiennes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. He's
Oh, I'll go.
So good.
Is it on I'm streaming?
I think it's on HBO.
Is it on HBO?
I think so.
Oh,
Or
the new
it's that or
the new
Prime.
one called
Which
Max.
Max.
Okay. All right, I'll watch it on Max.
yeah.
We'll bleep those. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was it's just so good.
Okay.
I like watching actors make clear, deep choices. It's honestly it's a masterclass of
Oh,
You know-
he's amazing. He's an amazing actor. Is he British?
Yeah, I think so.
Is
I
he
think so.
British? Ray Fiennes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So my favorite movie, which I'm going to be watching again soon because it's a really emotional film for me. It's called Red Belt. Are you familiar with this?
No. Are you
Written-
real?
It's
Is this
real.
for
Yeah, this is real. This is real. Written and directed by David Mamet.
Oh, I love Mamet. He directed it? Does he usually direct?
No. But I recently got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this was before I've gotten into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And it's about a studio owner trying to stay true to his values despite everything else that's going on in his life. And one of the main themes of the movie is there's no situation you can't get out of. And just the pacing and...
So it sounds like Cobra Kai.
Judy. Yes, but much better, okay?
Cobra Kai.
It's
Red Belt.
I think it's one of those you can pull scenes from it
Oh, okay.
which you would be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this
great.
is a great acting scene." Like
Great.
because it's Mamet, he was plays. And I love when he does that thing where it's like one word, one word, one word, one word, one word,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden a monologue, and then one word, and then because for an actor that's like, ooh, how do I solve this puzzle piece that's
Yeah.
so different
Oh,
and
yeah.
make it real? I like that a lot.
Or to help them go, okay, it's this word. It's not that. It's all the stuff around and under that word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you getting this, Peyton?
This is like a master class acting sort of thing here.
I miss Peyton. I haven't seen him in a week.
Really?
Yeah,
A week?
In a whole week.
That's not that long.
I know. I miss Peyton a lot.
Are you picketing? Are you going on out
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
Disney?
more this week. I'm going to Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
I already went to Disney. I'm going to all the studios I've worked on. I think that'd be appropriate.
I've been sort of loyal to Warner Brothers because they have Shade, but now I hear that Disney has Shade, so I'm
Okay.
going there. I'm
Yeah.
a Shade hoe.
That's the quote of the episode. It's like what?
I'm a Shade hoe.
No, it's hot. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
hot.
really
It's really
hot.
bad. It's substantially. Wear sunscreen if you're out there.
I have a fan now that goes around my neck and blows cold air up into my face.
That's fancy. Then I guess you don't like hot yoga if you were to do hot yoga.
Oh, no.
No,
No, no, no.
no.
You like the hot yoga?
That's what I teach.
Ah.
It's miserable in there.
Yeah.
It's hell for an hour. I'm just kidding. It's really great.
No, people swear by it. I do love yoga, and I've done yoga for many years, but hot yoga? No.
You are a guest to my class if you'd like to come and try it out. If you change your mind, you're like, no. I'm not coming."
If I can bring in a portable fan and plug it in over by me. No, you know what it is too? It's like when the person next to you is dripping sweat and they go up to do, side angle pose and they move their arm and the sweat flies over on me.
Then you wouldn't like jujitsu. Last what is it? Wednesday, we were doing no-gi, which is notoriously more sweaty because you're not wearing the gi and you're just wearing a t-shirt that's tight and shorts that are tight, and it's literally slippery. You're just with the mats were all wet and we were just slipping sliding with each other's sweat, and I loved every bit of it, trying to stop another guy from killing me and vice versa. It's so great. It's so primal. I love jujitsu. I'm obsessed with
my
it now.
gosh.
It's been the fall, and I'm serious. I'm getting him, and now we can't get our intern, but Peyton's going to be joining me for a Sunday class.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anything you do to, get the whatever it is out and come back a better person.
I
That's
feel
great.
I feel it helps you get present, believe it or not, because you can't be thinking about anything else. Yeah. You should try it if you not. You're like, no.
No. I mean, I'll try it. I like hiking.
Hiking's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my thing. I mean, big mountains.
Baldy?
Baldy, Baden-Powell. I've done Kilimanjaro. That's a big one.
Whoa.
Yeah. I wrote a book. About it called Life is Like a Hike. The best view comes after the hardest climb.
So deep. I
Yeah.
like that.
Thank you. I wrote it in the pandemic, COVID, and I talk about all my different big hikes, the bigger ones, either 4 to 7 days or high elevation, and and then a little bit about, I sprinkle in some biopic stuff about my life and how I got interested in it and things that happened on the way and blah, blah, blah. So it's a little bit of a biopic as well.
Where can people can buy this?
Amazon, Life's Like a Hike by Judy Kain.
New York Times bestseller. I'm putting that out there. I'm manifesting it.
All right. Thank you.
#1 show on Adobe Radio. Manifesting it. But don't, when we have Eddie on, Eddie is the CEO of Adobe. He also has a show on here. I'm going to introduce this as the #1 show on Adobe Radio.
Yeah.
Let's see how he reacts.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Where are the specs for that?
I know. It's going to be sparks flying. Wait, no, sparks flying is love, right?
Sparks flying
Yeah.
is love. It's going to be like
Hey,
flames.
we do love Eddie.
We do love Eddie.
Flames flying,
Flames flying.
Fists.
fists
Fists
flying,
Mm-hmm.
birds flying, pigs flying.
I don't have anything more. I'm bad at improv. That's where my improv skills stop.
I'm bad. I'm out.
Judy, this has been absolutely fun.
Very fun. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course. Thank you. And if you said you had this still the deal going on and Keep It Real.
Yes. As
So-
long as the strike is going, we'll offer that.
That's
You just
awesome.
have to show your SAG card or your WGA card.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
they go to keepirealacting.com.
Uh-huh.
Great.
Yep.
Judy,
Yay.
do you want people to follow you on Instagram?
Please. My son, my beautiful, beautiful son, Frankie Manis, he does all my social media.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. Do you
Okay.
know Frankie?
No.
Oh.
No, Frankie, what's up, man? How's it going? That's awesome. You handle your mom's Instagram stuff and social
Yeah.
media.
I mean, he literally says to me, Wesam, it's a little embarrassing. Please don't post. Please don't post.
Why?
Because I mess it up.
Oh.
You make my job harder. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to learn how to post and hashtag.
Yeah, Frankie, come on, man. You gotta ease it up a little bit. Oh, that's very nice. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we'll have you back on soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Too
Yeah.
soon?
Whenever you want, actually.
Okay. All right.
If you have something you really want to talk about, this was very splendid. So you are welcome back whenever you want. You just let me know whenever.
Okay.
Or if you have like a special deal going on at Keep It
Okay.
Real.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peyton, play us out. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining onto the show. We're going to pretend there's music going on, and there will be music going on if you're listening. Thank you for tuning into the show. Remember to subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment below, and always remember to listen, think, and then talk. Bye, everyone.